The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the money.
Deep from the bowels of the Macabre Theater Laboratory, we bring you Macabre Cast. There is nothing wrong with your streaming service. You are exactly where you should be. A place where the slush puppy machine is always on and cold. Your favorite horror mag is on the rack, discreetly displayed between Women's Wear Daily and Cosmopolitan. I'm your host, Dark Mark, along with my counterpart, Karis, the Little Mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping ours where they belong and adding them where they don't. This is a safe space for those who still recall when the landline was the only phone in the house, and if it rang and the caller hung up as soon as you answered, it was surely a killer checking to see if you are home. Newbies welcome, regulars welcome back, and worshippers, be gone with you. Please, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and tell a friend to do the same. Even that guy who rides to work with a mannequin in the passenger seat so he can travel in the carpool lane. Yeah, that guy. If you wish to interact with fellow monster kids, follow the Facebook page, Macabre Theater. It's there where you can leave me a voice message through Messenger and become part of this show. A link can be found in this episode's description. Macabre Cast episode 124 begins now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Adoro il cast macabro.
Well, Karis, October is on top of us. And with it comes my favorite time of year, Halloween.
People need to live every day like it's Halloween.
Words of wisdom, Karis. Words of wisdom. So this week's topic is, what are you, the monster kids, watching this Halloween season, or what would you suggest that we all watch this Halloween?
Joker on the back burner, is it?
No, Karis, I fully plan to see the Joker.
Uh-huh. So, Dark, I bet you didn't notice, but I've burned 1,200 calories.
You burned 1,200 calories? Wow. How did you manage to do that?
I forgot the pizza I had cooking in the oven, and it burnt.
And on that note, it's time for horror news.
Lights river showers, she said, open only the strong shall spray. She said, but I'm feeling quite weak. She said.
Zach Krager confirms that a prequel to Weapons is a real possibility. It's something he had in mind before Weapons was ever released. This October, James Wan will be releasing a series titled True Haunting to Netflix. Set to premiere October 7th, these will be stories of real supernatural happenings. The Jester 2 releases to VOD on demand for Halloween. A Sleepaway Camp remake is coming from Kenan Thompson and the film's original director, Robert Hiltzik. Paula Shaw, who played Mrs. Voorhees in Freddy vs. Jason, has passed on to the other side. She was 84 years young. And that's it for horror news.
She said.
And Draven agrees. Draven, the blood-vomiting bat.
Children of the night, what music they make.
So what do you get when you sprinkle a little of Carpenter's Halloween with a dash of Scream mixed with My Bloody Valentine and all set in the 80s? Well, you get Night of the Reaper, of course, a 2025 film and a Shudder original that just dropped. Directed by Brandon Christensen, starring Jessica Clement and Ryan Robbins. When a college student, Dina, is corralled into babysitting, the police are being taunted with pieces of evidence from a killer responsible for slaughtering another babysitter. Decent acting, average story, good kills, really cool mask that the killer wears too. But just an average story. The payoff, revealing the killer, it's just okay. It's worth a watch this Halloween season, but not high on the recommend list. So Dark Mark does suggest you check it out.
Go check it out. Go check it out. Go check it out.
Hey, look who just pulled up. It's the Queen of Salem, Tina from Chicago.
Hey, Dark Mark and Karis, the little mummy. Happy autumn, everybody. Hey, did I ever tell you that I have a small tattoo on the back of my neck that is the Chinese symbol for autumn? Nobody ever sees it because it's small and it's orange and I have long hair and it's the only tattoo I have. But I'm thinking of having it touched up because it's the one tattoo that I know I'll never get rid of because it's something that I love and it's very personal. I love the autumn. I'm so happy that we're here. And I just wanted to call today because I'm so excited that Mark recommended that movie Dr. Jekyll from 2023 because I watched it and I loved it. I just thought it reminded me of the 70s Hammer films, but it was fresh. The story was fresh. And I thought Eddie Izzard was brilliant. I loved his portrayal. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk about it too much. But my favorite thing about the movie was at the end when the main character is being interviewed and he says his name. If you know, you know. My mother for years has been trying to get me to watch the 1931 version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Fredwood March, and I never watched it. She even stayed up one night till like 2 o'clock in the morning to put it on a VHS tape for me to make me watch it, and I still have not seen that film. And that's what I'm going to do, probably in October this year. In her memory, I'm going to watch that film because I was never really interested in Dr. Jekyll. But this film I recommend with Mark. Go see Dr. Jekyll, the 2023 version of it. It was brilliant. Also, the topic this week is about movies I'm going to watch in October. I thought I'd bring up a couple of things. One being Netflix has a pretty good movie called Cobweb. I love the aesthetics of this film. It was pretty good. It was scary, but, unfortunately, not a lot of things scare me as I get older, I guess. My goal in October is to find something that's going to truly scare me, that's going to make me not want to turn off the lights when I go to sleep or be alone in the house. So if anybody's got any recommendations for that, that would be really cool. What I'm going to watch this October, probably The Legend of Hell House is one of my favorite go-tos. One movie that's the most recent movie that's really scared me, The Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott. That was really scary. But I'm going to save my favorite movies for a future show because I know that you always ask, what movies you're going to watch on Halloween or the week of. And I'm going to save those for last. So that's all the recommendations I have for right now. And thanks so much, Mark, for recommending Dr. Jekyll. It's really great when you listen to somebody's recommendation and you're pleasantly surprised. You should try it sometime. But you know what? I'm not worried about that because November is right around the corner and you know what I'm talking about. So watch out. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
You're gonna push this flipping Joker thing right up until the time she shows up at your house at Thanksgiving with that DVD. You recommend, you tell people to watch things, you get told to watch things and you don't watch it. That's just rude. She's right, get on it. Next movie, Joker. See it now before it's October, and it interferes with your horror movies.
I've never seen this tattoo that you mentioned. I, on the other hand, have no tattoos. And I am so glad that you enjoyed Hammer's Dr. Jekyll with Eddie Izzard. As the Monster Kids know, I gave that very high praise on Macabre Cast episode 110. So anyone interested, if you want to go back to episode 110 and hear what I had to say about Hammer's 2023 film Dr. Jekyll starring Eddie Izzard, please do. I'm unaware of this film called Cobwebbed on Netflix. I'll have to read up on that. And I'm recommending some stuff for Halloween this episode, but I will be unloading a much bigger list when Macabre Cast drops its annual big Halloween show on the 27th, days before the big day. Don't forget, I'm looking for Halloween memories and movie recommendations. Movie recommendations for those planning their horror movie marathons on Halloween. Mine will start the night before because I have taken all of Halloween off, and it's a Friday, so mine will start Thursday evening, probably into the wee hours of Halloween, then continuing on through trick-or-treats and into that late night. So great hearing from you as always, Chicago Tina, and we all hope to hear from you again real soon.
Everybody just yells and screams at each other. Nobody's civil anymore. Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy.
So yes, the topic this week is asking you, the Monster Kids, are you going to have a horror movie marathon? What are you planning to watch? The big Halloween show drops on October 27th. So yes, I do want your Halloween memories for that show, scary things that happened to you that you'd like to share, and of course, lay on us those Halloween movie picks on the 27th. I'm suggesting some now as well as you are, but I plan to put out a good list of Halloween kosher films.
You're going to recommend Jewish horror movies?
No, Karis.
Well, you chose to use the word kosher.
I was being funny.
No, you weren't. You were being anti-Semitic and uncaring of others' feelings.
No, I think you've got me all wrong.
Your shirts and coffee mugs and beanies ain't selling so well.
Thanks for the heads up.
Metal Melody told me it's because no one wants your ugly face on a shirt or especially a cup that they have to drink from.
I think you're mistaken.
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah, she didn't say that much.
You know, Karis, let me just...
Hey, Dark Mark, Little Karis, and all the Monster Kids hang out at the theater this week. It's Horror Chat Matt back again. So the topic this week is which movie would we recommend people to view on Halloween? For many years, I would watch the original Halloween And that would eventually lead to a marathon of the rest of the films in the series over the next couple of nights. The streak came to an end a couple of years ago, and I've just been watching random movies on Halloween. I think this year, though, I'm going to get back to it, although with a little bit of a twist, since I just recently watched Halloween with my daughter a couple of weeks ago. I think this Halloween I'm going to continue the story of the night he came home, and I'm going to take in Halloween 2. Honestly, I think you could watch any horror movie any night of the week, but you really kind of have to have something special on Halloween. So I think I'm going to go with Halloween 2. May not be the most original idea, but it's what I'm going to do. Also, Metal Melody, your story kind of hit close to home for me about having the wrong date, thinking that you were going to the theaters to watch The Strangers 2, but it's not out currently. That reminded me of a story from several years ago. I had bought movie tickets a couple of weeks in advance, and I was going to take in a show before work. And I drove all the way over to the theater, bought my popcorn, checked in, sat down on my seat, got comfortable, watched the trailers, and all of a sudden a different movie came on. I believe I was going to see one of the Marvel movies. I can't remember which one. But whatever was on the screen was like a romantic comedy. I'm like, I must be in the wrong theater. So I go outside and I look at the billboard, and outside of the theater, and the movie poster is for whatever romantic comedy it was. Then I looked closer at my ticket and realized that it was for the following weekend. So I had to go to the box office and tell them what happened. They said, no problem, just come back next week. And went home and told my wife about the experience. And till this day, she still, anytime I leave to go to the theater to check out a movie, she goes, are you sure you got the right weekend? You sure you're going to the right day? So don't feel too bad about that little mix-up. At least you didn't drive all the way over to the theater. As always, Dark, make mine macabre.
Let me tell you something about Halloween 2, Horror Chat. Halloween 2 is my Halloween. And why do you ask? Because that was the first Halloween film that I saw in the theater. When it first came out. Now, interesting enough, a good friend of mine's older brother was an usher there. Now, I went with my dad, who I can probably count on one hand how many movies I went to with my dad. And I treasure every moment, but most movies I went to with my mom. But I did go see this with my dad. I begged him to take me to see it. Now, we didn't get let in free, okay, even though my friend's brother let the entire football team in for free. They were all there, and you can just imagine what the atmosphere was like in that theater. But that was my Halloween. I thought that movie, when I first saw it, was absolutely petrifying. Michael Myers was an unstoppable force. My dad particularly liked the hot tub scene. And if you know, you know. And as I've stated earlier, Horror Chat, I plan to see a slew of movies, a literal horror marathon that starts the night before. Because I said I have Halloween off, which is a Friday. So starting Thursday night into the wee hours of Halloween, I'll be watching films. And that will definitely be one that I see. Still love it. 1981, the original Halloween 2. Still want them, still my fave.
I just want to understand why you slammed the door in Horror Chat like you did. And that was crazy rude.
Because eventually, Karis, everything has to come to an end. We can't just lollygag on and on forever. Things need to end sometimes. But it is always great hearing from Horror Chat week after week. We hope to hear from you again soon, Horror Chat, and be thinking about your Halloween memories and maybe a collection of films people can add to their horror movie marathon. Take care, my friend.
Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't feel the reaper. Baby, take my hand, don't feel the reaper. We'll be able to fly, don't feel the reaper. Baby, I'm your man. La, 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 la.
So another one to add to your horror movie marathon this Halloween would be 1982's Alone in the Dark, directed by Jack Scholder. This lost gem from 1982 stars Donald Pleasance, Jack Palance, and Martin Landau. Dr. Dan Potter arrives to his new job at the Asylum for the Criminally Insane. There he meets the clinic's director, Dr. Leo Bain, played by Pleasance. Dr. Leo comes across as more of a patient than a doctor. And we're introduced to some pretty horrific characters, like the preacher, a self-proclaimed messenger of God, played incredibly by Landau. Frank, a World War II POW that went insane, that's Jack Palance. And Ronald, a 350-pound child molester. These ghouls are housed in a place where the entire security system is run on electricity. Feeling set up here yet? And if not, an orderly in the film spells it out when he proclaims, "The only thing separating us from them is electricity." Thank you, Captain Obvious. Before you can say, "Holy shnikes," the power goes out in a citywide blackout, and a crazy carnage ensues. This one has a special place in my heart and is a perfect watch for Halloween. I give this 3.5 stars out of 5. Doc Mark highly recommends.
Hey Monster Kids, Laura Horror here. Just chiming in about what movies that I'm interested in seeing and might potentially see for Halloween and what I suggest for Halloween. So, what I see for Halloween may be up for a great debate between myself and Dark Mark and perhaps our son Jack-o'-lantern.
Democracy reigns king!
But what I would like to be able to see is for the category of somewhat classic, but not old school classic horror movies. Halloween, Terror Train, Carrie, or Scream, I think would all be good choices. If you're going for a comedy movie, please skip Hocus Pocus. I'm with Dark Mark. I really did not think that was very good. I don't understand what all the hype about that movie is. I would say put a circle and a line through that one and instead go for The Burbs with Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher. That movie is hysterical. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. If you're going for really, really old school classic horror, I would go with Dracula with Bela Lugosi. Of course, my favorite. Sorry to annoy everyone. I say it every week, Psycho. Another one of my favorites is Vincent Price. And so I would suggest House on Haunted Hill or House of Wax. Any of those choices would be great for an old classic. But like I said, we will see if I know I'll get some of my choices.
Democracy reigns king!
But we'll see how much I get because I'm sure we're all going to have to take turns picking movies. Everybody enjoy your Halloween and your Halloween season. Bye.
Of course, it's a democracy in that house, Karis, not a dictatorship. And we all get choices. Of course, Laura Horror tends to fall asleep quickly and right away, and some people get more choices than others, but it is what it is.
Oh my gosh. Does that suck?
Great picks, as always. Great classics and great choices. Thank you, Laura Horror.
I will love you for all time. Rains will come, winds will blow, but there's one thing you should know. I have always longed
If I can put another suggestion on your Halloween hot plate, 2013's animated film Extraordinary Tales. As you take in the night air that has a hint of wet leaves and burning candles, Edgar Allan Poe just might be the cherry on top of your haunted evening. Narrated by horror greats such as Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi, that's two Draculas with one stone. Different artists lend their talents, keeping each story fresh, and each story runs about 10 minutes with a total time of an hour and 13 minutes. All of the best Poe are here. The Fall of the House of Usher, The Telltale Heart, The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death. This is a nice little jump start to your evening.
Why, oh my good gracious, look who's back. Hey, Doc, it's Scary Larry.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Dark Mark and Karis the Little Mummy. Scary Larry here. New location, new time zone, same witty opinions. Hey Karis, why did the mortician clock out of work early? Well, he was dying to leave. So some catching up to do. My 5 quotes from the following movies. Oh, Heidi-ho, officer. We've had a doozy of a day. Is from Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun is from Army of Darkness. Boy is from The Tall Man in Phantasm. I will not calm down. This is the second time I've been hit with a severed head, and I don't like it, is from Lake Placid. Others, as in more than one other, is from the iconic Arsenic and Old Lace. Now, Mark, that last one, I'd love for you to do a deep death dive on, as there's some interesting tidbits from that classic black and white film. The topic of haunted objects. Horror Chat brought up a great one, the Necronomicon from Evil Dead Trilogy. Another that came to mind that I hadn't heard anyone bring up is the Zulu fetish doll from Trilogy of Terror. And then the last example is the opal red stone from Wishmaster that caused all the havoc. As for recasting horror films, not going to give you an actual movie. However, for years I thought it would be a cool concept to swap roles in an action movie. And it'd work as well in horror. Take all our characters known for playing villains and make them the victims or final survivor of a horror movie, as well as investigators working whichever horror angle is going on in the movie. Then take all the final girls we know as heroes and make them the villains of your movie. That's all I got this week. I am still in transition, so I'm not sure when I'll be able to sit down and actually watch a new horror flick, but I'll be back to give more insight on topics and events. That's all for now.
A big welcome back to Scary Larry. Scary, I believe you are the first to suggest a deep death dive to me, and I thank you because I've basically stopped asking the Monster Kids for suggestions as I've gotten none. The idea of the hero-villain swap is pretty awesome, and I wish this had been executed years ago when many of the actors and actresses were younger or still here for that matter. I wish you a big success in your move and transition to a new land. And we hope to hear from you really soon when you can return to seeing it so we don't have to. Welcome to Cobwebbed Classics, where I dust off a lost, forgotten, or just plain unappreciated film and introduce it to, or maybe just remind you about it, so your spooky Saturday night might run a little creepier. This week's Cobwebbed Classic is 1979's Time After Time, directed by Nicholas Meyer, starring Malcolm McDowell, Mary Steenburgen, and David Warner.
The time is 1893, and novelist and inventor H.G. Wells invites you to join him on a flight. But Wells has not come here as a tourist. His visit will be somewhat more dangerous, for he is pursuing Jack the Ripper, a villain who has eluded his fate by escaping into time.
90 years ago, I was a freak. Today, I'm an amateur. I'm obliged to take you back to face the consequences of your acts. You take me back. How do you propose to do that? By force? Be reasonable, John.
Join forces to capture a criminal from the past, at large, in the modern world. A romantic adventure, a breathless chase, around the world and across a century. Time after time.
What happens when you take real-life historical characters and set them in a fictional story? In my humble opinion, you get magic. This mostly overlooked film about famous prolific English writer and father of science fiction H.G. Wells, played by McDowell, who penned the book The Time Machine in 1895. This toys with the fact that suggests, imagine if Wells had actually invented and built a time machine. And what if the infamous Jack the Ripper got his hands on it and catapulted into the future, 1979 to be exact? This film could not have been cast better. David Warner, who is no stranger to playing villains, absolutely crushed the role as the Ripper, as does Malcolm McDowell as H.G. Wells. McDowell really shows his acting chops to be able to go from a role like he had in Clockwork Orange and Caligula to this. All four of H.G. Wells' children were still alive at the time this film released. What they thought of it, I don't know, as I could find no mention. The film's title inspired Cyndi Lauper's song Time After Time when she flipped through a TV guide in 1983 in search of song titles. McDowell met Marion Steenburgen on the set of this film and married her a year later. They were together for 10 years and had 2 children. Look for a very young Corey Feldman in the museum scene. Taglines for this gem are as follows: the wildest chase of the century. A chase through time to catch Jack the Ripper. This would make a great double feature with the film based on Wells's book, The Time Machine, from 1960, directed by George Pal. 1979's Time After Time is this week's Cobwebbed Classics. Do you love theater of the mind, scary stories of fear and horror? Then please check out Dark Mark's sister YouTube channel, Terror. Old time radio made new. Look for the link in this show's description.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, Doc Mark, Karis the Little Mummy, and everybody listening. This is Metal Melody saying hello. So anyway, as far as the topic, which is our go-to movies on Halloween, now, we all know we watch them year-round, right? However, on Halloween night, of course, Halloween is always my go-to. Usually I watch Jason, and those are my 2 main ones, and sometimes I watch Freddy. I like to watch a lot of the old ones from the 80s. Last year, I watched Halloween, and I watched I think I watched one of the Nun movies because one of them are freaking scary. I can't remember if it was one or two, but anyway, and The Conjuring, great movies. But yeah, I definitely, of course, always watch Halloween and Jason. Friday the 13th. I was like, wait a minute. I'm getting old, so, don't mind me. So anyway, yeah, those would be my go-to movies for sure. I don't really watch things like The Shining, Amityville. Like, those aren't go-to movies for my Halloween. Friday the 13th, Halloween, definitely top 2. So that's as far as the topic for the horror movies. I do want to say that I watched a movie called Deep Fear. It was on Prime, and I thought it was really good. It's basically 3 students that are celebrating their graduation, and they visit the Paris catacombs, and they think they're going to have like, a good time partying, or their person like in charge there, their tour guide, shows them all around, and they discover a bunker that was formerly occupied by the Nazis. And then it leads to some kind of chase where something is hunting them and ripping like their body apart. This was not fast, Mark. This was rather like slow moving movie, but not too slow. And it had just enough that it kept my attention, and I thought it was very interesting. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. If nobody's seen it, I don't know when it came out. I think it came out in like 2 years ago. I had never seen it though. So again, I would give that like 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty cool. I'll let you guys know on the next episode because by then I will have seen The Strangest Chapter 2, which I'm very excited about. Can't wait to hear episode 124, Mark, and I will give my review on The Strangest Chapter 2 on, I believe it's episode 125. By the way, I forgot to mention that movie is international. I don't know if it's in French or...
C'est quoi, elle a aimé la parce que c'est une grosse un belle c'est qu'un gros.
I don't know what the hell it's in, but it's not in English. So if you don't like reading the closed captioning, then you probably won't want to watch the movie. I'm used to it because I'm friggin' deaf anyway, so those help me. So it doesn't bother me. But I just want to put that in there anyway. All right, so everybody have a fantastic week. Ta-ta.
So it sounds to me, Metal Melody, that your go-to at Halloween time is the slash of the Titans. Freddy, Jason, Myers, Leatherface. And those are great go-tos. You mentioned The Nun, too, and I always felt that was better on a second watch. I just wasn't really impressed with that the first time, but really enjoyed it the second time around. Deep Fear sounds great, and I'll have to check that out. The Paris catacombs and the Nazis and stuff, that sounds great. And we're all looking so forward to your review of Strangers Chapter 2. That's looking really good, and we can't wait to hear what you think. And hope to hear from you again next week, Metal Melody. Take care.
Goditi questo episodio de Cast Macabre.
Thank you, Maria Monstalia, for telling our Italian friends to enjoy this episode of Macabre Cast. It's the little things that get us through. Life can be so challenging at times. We can have so much on our plate. It can be crazy overwhelming. So we have our things. For us monster kids, it's the Halloween season and new horror movies to be released. Maybe even some smaller things like, I don't know, new episodes of a favorite podcast dropping every week. It's nice to have the little things to give our minds a break from time to time. I hope you'll join me next time.
This is a Macabre Theater production.
Subscribe.